I never planned to open the door. That is the part that still bothers me the most. This was not curiosity, bravery, or some dramatic choice. It was routine, habit, the quiet confidence that comes from believing you understand the place you live in. I had been renting the house for almost a year. Old, creaky, but cheap. The kind of place where the walls pop at night and the floors complain when you walk too fast. Nothing unusual, just a house that had lived longer than most people. The basement door was always there, tucked at the end of the hallway. Locked. The landlord told me it was sealed for safety reasons. Low ceiling, unstable foundation, nothing worth going down there for. I believed him. I never questioned it, until the knocking started. It was subtle at first. A single dull thump, spaced far enough apart that I assumed it was plumbing. Maybe the pipes shifting, maybe the house settling. That is what I told myself while laying in bed, staring at the ceiling, counting seconds between the sounds. Thump, silence, thump. It always came from the same direction. The hallway, the basement door. After a few nights, the sound changed. It became more deliberate, less random, like something was testing the surface, learning how much force it needed. I stopped sleeping well. Every time I passed the door, I felt watched. Not in a dramatic way. Just a quiet awareness, like standing too close to someone without realizing it. One evening, as I was locking up, I heard my name. Clear, soft, familiar. It came from behind the basement door. I froze. Every instinct told me to back away, to leave the house, to pretend I never heard it. But the voice sounded like someone I knew, someone I trusted. It said my name the way it always had. Calm, reassuring. I stood there for a long time, hand hovering inches from the knob. Finally, I laughed at myself. Stress, sleep deprivation. Old houses make noise. Old houses do not talk. That night, I dreamed of the basement. In the dream, the door was open. The stairs stretched down farther than they should have. The walls pulsed like they were breathing. At the bottom, something waited in the dark, patiently repeating my name until I woke up gasping for air. The next morning, the lock was broken. Not smashed, not forced, unlocked. The door stood slightly open, just enough for a thin line of darkness to spill into the hallway. Cold air leaked out, carrying a smell I could not place. Damp, stale, wrong. I called the landlord. No answer. I told myself I would leave, grab essentials, stay somewhere else. But instead, I stood at the door again, listening. Nothing, no knocking, no voice. I opened it. The stairs creaked under my weight as I descended. The light switch at the top did nothing. I used my phone flashlight, the beam cutting through dust and shadows. The basement was larger than it should have been. The ceiling higher. The walls smooth, almost polished, like stone worn by hands over a very long time. No storage, no boxes, just empty space, and markings, symbols carved into the walls, repeating patterns that made my eyes ache when I tried to focus on them. They were not decorative, they felt functional, like instructions written in a language meant to be felt rather than read. At the far end of the room, there was another door. Newer, cleaner, completely out of place. I should have turned back then. Every part of me screamed to leave. Instead, I stepped closer. As I approached, the knocking returned. Louder now, coming from behind that second door. And then the voice spoke again. It sounded exactly like me. Same tone, same pauses. Same nervous habit of clearing my throat before speaking. It asked me why I was afraid. Told me it had been waiting. That it was tired of being alone. I asked what it was. It laughed. My laugh. It said it was the part of me that stayed behind every time I walked away from something hard. Every fear I buried. Every choice I avoided. It said the basement was full of them. Pieces of people who never finished becoming themselves. I told it to stop. Told it this was not real. The door began to open from the inside. I ran. The stairs seemed longer going up. The walls closer. I felt hands brush my ankles, fingers cold and desperate. Whispering filled the air, voices overlapping, all saying different versions of the same regret. When I reached the top, I slammed the door and shoved furniture against it. The house went silent. For days, nothing happened. I convinced myself it was a breakdown. Stress-induced hallucinations. I packed my things and prepared to move. I told no one about the basement. On my last night, as I lay on the floor surrounded by boxes, I heard a soft knock from the hallway. Then my voice again. This time, it sounded angry. It said I could not leave everything behind. That something had to stay. The door burst open. The darkness poured out like liquid, swallowing the hallway, the walls, the ceiling. I felt myself being pulled apart, memories,